used to work at Hay, which supports youth aging out of foster care and kind of strengthens the system as they transition to independent living. And I'm now on the board, now that I no longer work in the nonprofit sector. And so we thought it would be a great idea to kind of use the holidays and support Hay, since we know nonprofits are definitely challenged this year. And there's a lot of important work that they do. So we have Sarah here, who actually took my job when I left Hay. That's right. And has really grown the organization and done a lot of great things with them. So she's just going to talk for a couple minutes about what Hay does currently and kind of what are their big initiatives, and then we'll eat and drink some more.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. And I was thinking about it, and it was Katy's position that I'd actually applied for, and she was the one who interviewed me, along with our then director, Michelle Burns. And going in, I had no idea really what kind of, I had a sense that I wanted to be part of an agency that was looking at the big picture and creating change for people who work on the ground with foster care youth. But I didn't really have a good idea of what it was exactly until I went in, and as I was asking them questions, was so impressed with the work of Hay, and so impressed with how Katy and Michelle described their work and had this enthusiasm. So yes, hopefully we've done it well, and over the years we've had some changes in staff as well. We've got Dana Mandalesi, who came on. Her background is in research. We have another staff member whose background is in youth development. She's very strong skills around building advocates, and that's essentially our work. Our work is to build the skills and the support systems for those individuals who work directly with foster youth, especially the foster youth who are aging out of foster care. And I don't know how much Katy has told you in her years with Hay, but with foster care youth, unfortunately, at the age of 18, most of them are released from the foster care system, if they are still in the foster care system, and expected to be completely independent. Statistically, there's a report, maybe it's back there, I don't know if I brought, but there's a report that we kind of cite, it's the 2004 report, and this is back in 2004. It was said that most individuals don't become fully independent, and these are individuals from intact families until the age of 26. And you know, you have to think back on it. I know. Think back on it. It's about when you've left college for a couple of years, finally started to establish yourself in your career, and finally are able to maybe not depend so much on a break, a break between houses, or a couch to sleep on for a holiday, or something like that, or a check from grandma that you've been looking forward to, whatever it is. But finally you're at that age where you can start to establish your own networks and really start to become independent. That's 26. And yet we expect these young adults to be completely independent at 18, when most 18-year-olds are going through all these developmental changes and wiring that kind of does a whole other set of ballgame as far as going into the first year of college and the new kind of things you want to discover. So Hay's work is really to address the housing, employment, and education, as well as health needs of these youth. We don't work directly with them, but we work with the service providers who work with them. And service providers we would define very generally. It means any nonprofit, any teacher, any social worker, any individual, any parent, a foster parent, who is coming in direct contact with the foster youth, giving them the skills and abilities so that they can really, when the youth comes to them, because that's the one person they depend on, that's the one person they've been able to create a link with, that they have the tools. So back there on the table, you'll see some of our resources, and we've got statistic sheets for those agencies who are going for dollars and funding, so they can kind of reference how this works. Dana loves this stuff because she creates it. We address hot topics like immigration and child welfare. You all might be aware of what's going on in San Francisco as a safe, what is it called exactly? What's San Francisco called? A
sanctuary
city. So a lot of that impacts the kind of youth that enter our child welfare system. How does that affect them as they're aging out? We do a lot of guides around housing and support services for the youth as well. This year we've been recognized, and part of that has been Katy's work when she was at Hay, recognized as one of the pioneer agencies for bringing attention to the youth need as they're going on to higher education. We brought, actually Katy and Michelle brought attention to San Francisco State and to Heald College and eventually to Berkeley to start to have programs on their campuses that address the specific needs of foster youth who've made it to higher education. And I want to just point out, Claudia is currently at San Francisco State, and she's a member of one of our Emancipated Youth Advocacy Board teams, a former foster youth who's working with us on an 11-month internship to really understand the policies well enough, do trainings, and get the people who come after her to really have a much more successful experience transitioning. So if you get a chance, talk with both these wonderful people, Dana and Claudia, for their work at HAY. This year we've trained over 500 people. I mentioned we've been recognized as a model program for bringing the education services. We've been recognized as an amazing program for internships. We were chosen as one of 4 agencies in all the country for the best to empower foster youth. So we're doing amazing work, and we're a staff of 3. We're a staff of 3. We're a staff of 3 with wonderful interns. We're going to get some AmeriCorps Vistas thanks to the stimulus dollars. But we need support, and a lot of our work is raising awareness. So just as we're talking right now, we hope that you go out to your communities, to your friends, and start talking about foster care. Because when these youth have been removed from their home due to no fault of their own, we as a community are assuming responsibility. And as a community assuming responsibility, let's be there for them as long as we can. And part of that is just recognizing that this population exists and we need to help. Oftentimes when I make, have conversations with folks, it's amazing to me how many people actually have experience with a foster youth. But we don't verbalize it enough, we don't vocalize it enough, and the foster youth themselves sometimes feel isolated. So our hope, we do lots of events, some of you have been to our breakfast, we do lots of awareness raising events, because we really want this community to identify itself, to be identified, and therefore more resources directed to it. So please visit our website. We were talking about this. Find us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, get involved with us in whatever ways you can. And especially today, if you can, support us financially, but also ask us about what's going on with our work, because any help and all of the help will be great. You'll notice one of our other board members is filming me. We're going to put this on our website. So direct people, if you like what I said today, direct people to our website and kind of forward this information on. Yeah, so thank you so much, and we're going to be around if you have any questions. But yeah, I'm going to pass it back to Katy.
Cool, yeah, so thanks all for coming. Yeah, so everyone who's on the board or works at HAY has a little blue thing if you want to find out more. And I would encourage you all to support HAY. We have a little base in the back for any checks or donations that you might have. And we also have envelopes if you want to think about it and go home and send something in later. So yeah, so eat and drink. And
Thank you.
Thank you,
Katy.